Conjen Helen is joining us today on Kababayan Today. She is a Consul General here in Los Angeles, kasama na sa Las Vegas, kasama na sa Houston, and New Mexico.
Yes.
That's a big chunk of communities that you need to take care of or tend to. And as the mother, as our mother for the next few years here of the Kababayan community, I know that you also have plans. Earlier you mentioned something about your wish for the Filipino communities here. What about specific projects? And I know that you have already started some.
Yes, and thank you for bringing that up, Janelle. When the community tendered a reception for me, sinabi ko na itong dating ko dito as Consul General, dalawa yung pinaka-priority sana agenda. One is economic diplomacy, and number two is the engagement of the Filipino-American youth. But of course, I can only do that kung marami kaming extended services. So hopefully, sana in all these places that you've mentioned, in the states of Arizona, New Mexico, Texas, San Diego County, sana makapag-identify na kami o maka-nominate kami ng honorary consul. Kasi mahirap talaga yung medyo malayo. Naiintindihan ko po mga kababayan, I can fully understand that na masyadong malayo ang konsulado, so kailangan nyo ng assistance. So we're really trying our best. We hope that we are able to nominate and get real good honorary consuls for our jurisdiction.
Mag-isip na po kayo. You know your certain communities, specific communities better. So kung meron kayong kakilalang kababayan na gustong i-nominate, make sure you get in touch with the Consulate General. But Conjen Helen, you mentioned earlier as well yung economic diplomacy and engagement of the youth. Let's first talk about economic diplomacy. What does that entail and how can we help?
Thank you. Yung economic diplomacy is, as you probably know, this is really the good time. We've been promoting our country. We've never had this success story in recent years.
Yes.
So I think what we have demonstrated is that if you have a government that is bent on good governance, you're also going to produce a good economics and good investment. So we just had a road show last April, led by Ambassador Quisha, and we really had a very successful and very productive investment roadshow. And then before that, since you mentioned, ano ba ang pwedeng gawin ng community? Sometime in January, the consulate shepherded and spearheaded a partnership with one of the largest organizations in Southern California, yung Pangasinan Brotherhood.
Okay.
And we brought in a discussion on how the Filipino-Americans, well, syempre sa kanila region nila, Pangasinan, can help for small and medium enterprises. So it's a synergy of the Filipino-American businesses, small businesses here, linking them with potential businesses in Pangasinan.
Yes, and it's not to say that you can't do that. I know there's a Pangasinan Brotherhood, there's Bukawi Association, there's different organizations. We encourage you to do that as well because, like you said, there's economic boom in the Philippines right now, and some Filipino-Americans who, may have extra cash or want to invest or want to retire in the Philippines, this may be a good way to explore businesses, right?
That's right.
You can get into.
And if I may just add, for instance, miski yung remittances, I mean, I know that everybody's already familiar with this, pero for instance, just like last year, close to $21 billion ang ipinasok ng overseas Filipinos sa ating ekonomiya sa Philippines.
That's all over the world. Philippines from all over the world. Okay.
And no single investor would put that amount of money.
Right.
So that's why importante yung contribution ng mga Filipino-Americans, really.
And also very important, when we talk about Filipino-Americans, there seems to be two groups, Filipino immigrants, and we've discussed that before, and the second, third, fourth generation Filipino-Americans, those who were raised here or born and raised here. And you're saying that you want to engage them.
Yes. I think that's also part of the process of linking them to the motherland, especially yung mga pinanganak na dito, and na medyo still... when we were interviewing some youth members, they were saying that they are in search of their authenticity.
Yes.
So
that's an interesting word, authenticity.
Yes. And I myself, is asking myself, ano kaya ang ibig sabihin ng authenticity ng youth dito?
Right.
So I think what they have in mind is that kasi dito sila pinanganak,
Right.
they are Americans first
Yes.
with Filipino descent.
Yes, yes, yes.
So, yung mindset ng first generation natin, sila yung Filipino-Americans. They were Filipinos, then naturalized Americans. Iba din syempre yung paradigm na tinitignan nitong mga kababayan natin na to. Pero itong mga youth na Americans first with Filipino descent, syempre, iba yung tinitingnan din nilang aspirations.
Yes.
And I think as first generation, kailangan tanggapin din natin yung reality na yon. Na hindi naman ho siguro ibig sabihin no, na kinakalimutan na nila, and I'm now speaking on behalf of the youth,
Right.
but I fully appreciate what they're doing as well. Iba lang ho talaga, as in any endeavor, you know, may kasabihan nga ho tayo, the only permanent thing is change.
Yes, correct. Oh.
For as long as we are able to embrace what unifies us as a people, as a race, I think that is the most important thing.
And we've discussed that here not a few times. No? We've even asked the youth to come over and talk about their issues. So we're going to be talking about that when we return on the program, because when you said, you know, as long as we have common goals, common values, that, you know, as long as we understand what unites us as a people. But what is that? We're going to be talking about that when we return on the show. Don't go away.